So I watched the Battlefield 5 trailer. I'll be completely honest with you, I didn't give a shit when I first saw it. I mean, this is coming from a guy who has not played a Battlefield game since Battlefield 3, so I had zero intention of buying Battlefield 5 to begin with. Not to mention that because of the pure dumpster fire that was Star Wars Battlefront 2, I have currently been on a year-long EA strike. So, whatever the trailer had shown would not have meant a damn thing to me personally. However, it appears that for many people on both sides of the political spectrum, this has been nothing short of a catastrophic failure. Now, for the side that normally I would associate myself with, obviously, at the time of the trailer, we were led to believe that we were expecting another World War II kind of style game. Obviously, we had just had Battlefield 1, so we were thinking, okay, so they're going to World War II. All right, perfect. And then we saw what we saw. We saw a lot of women. We saw people with a prosthetic limb out and fighting. People with katanas on their back. And we all kind of stood there and went, okay, as far as we've known from history, the way that it's been told to us, that's not how it went. So naturally people made their case. They said, hey, like, what's going on here? This is obviously not what we had back then. This is obviously not how the story was told to us. This is not what we assume we see. Now, obviously, there are things that we have, gone back and looked at. Like, yeah, those kind of prosthetic limbs existed. And yeah, there were women in the war, but usually they were not on the front lines and they were snipers specifically. So at the time, the case was made that whatever EA and DICE were pushing there made basically no sense. And naturally, the left does what they always do, or the left does what they always do, for that matter, and decided that this was the time, again, to start screaming and shouting and trying to push the same old crap that, quite frankly, we're already on the right track for, and there is no need to be yelling about it anymore. But again, it goes in the same direction that it did with Ghostbusters, where it's, oh, you don't like this thing because there are women in it. No, motherfucker. Again, can we not just immediately jump to that conclusion? I don't understand. Well, actually, I do understand. It's because it's just fucking idiotic. It's just these people have such an ego to them that they want to be able to tell people what to do, and they want to make up their own reasons to make up their own crazy reality of what's really going on in the world, which in actuality is not the case. For them to go and just freak the fuck out about it was just nothing short of, like I said, the Ghostbusters idiocy that we saw when that trailer came out, where it's, you aren't allowed to just say something is bad or that you don't like something. You have to have like the specific smoking gun level of reason for it. And they always find the most off the spectrum answer to that question. So, as per usual, the social justice warrior side of the left has once again over-exaggerated and quite frankly made up an entire controversy that didn't exist in the first place. But I'm going to take it one step further. As the title of this video says, I don't think there's any controversy to begin with when it comes to Battlefield 5. And there is one simple reason for it. Developers have come out and said specifically what they were hoping to make in this game. They came out straightforward and said that we are more interested in player customization than we are about authenticity. When I hear that, when I read that, I at this point have to take a step back from anyone who would make the comment that this is not historically accurate. And that's it. I'm out of this conversation now because they have made it clear what they want to do with this game. Now, I may not agree with this idea because obviously we have seen from all the past Battlefield games that they've tried to have some level of authenticity to it. They've never gone to this length. I have no problem with them going to this length as long as they are willing to stand up there and say that that's what they're going for. Now, I will give them a little bit of flack because if you're going to make changes of this level to a series that people are a lot more used to when it comes to having some sense of historical accuracy. Yes, I understand the ridiculousness of some of the battles that you see, like the guys who jump out of fighter jets, snipe somebody, and manage to get back in another jet. Can we stop using that excuse as a way to say, oh, well, yeah, this game's never been historically accurate? It's a video game. Let's please remember that video games are always able to be broken. But from the atmosphere, the world, the actual level of characters and weaponry and stuff, there was historical accuracy with what we played. The difference is let's be honest, if we try to make a game that was 100% historically accurate in terms of like how the guns handle, in terms of the way battles were done, the game would suck for two reasons. One, it would be boring most of the time, and two, you would die so quickly and you wouldn't get up, so the game would be over for you, and no one would want to fucking play that. So, both sides of the argument are pretty much null and void at this point. And again, I find myself still aligning with those who would be considered the not SJW left, because I'm not going to say the right, because I don't think that's accurate, because I am myself a centrist, and probably a little more left-leaning than I would be right. So, I still lean in the direction of the people that are anti-SJW, but the problem is in this specific case, because DICE came out and said that this was not meant to be a fully I can't speak. Bloody hell, this is what I get for doing something so early in the morning. Because it's not authentic. I don't have a horse in that race. I can't sit here and say, oh, DICE is just being ridiculous. They're trying to go fucking SJW because, they're trying to take away this. I can't say that with a straight face, because if I'm going to fight for Kingdom Come Deliverance, a game that straight up said that they were trying to be 100% historically accurate, I cannot make that claim towards Battlefield 5 not being historically accurate when they're doing the exact same thing that Kingdom Come Deliverance is. They're stating that their level of authenticity of what that is. They are having their freedom to be as creative and artistic as they want in the direction that they want. So for me to take a shot at DICE, take a shot at EA for this, I can't do that without being a massive fucking hypocrite. And this is the same deal that we are now seeing on both sides. My side is being ridiculous by still attacking this game after DICE has come out and said what they want to do, and the left, as per usual, is still being hypocritical by saying that, oh, this is okay, and then going after Kingdom Come Deliverance, when, again, the guy straight up says, I'm going for historical accuracy here, so that is how this is going to go. And again, they have to fight it. So this comes from a place where both sides are being just as fucking retarded. The only difference is I'm going to give the left a little more shit because they're getting mad at people that are getting mad for no reason. That's how it always has been with me. I never got mad and upset with the Kingdom Come Deliverance issue. To be honest, I just laughed. Because I'm like, really? Really? This is what you guys are doing? Really? Whereas the left is taking this super seriously in the same way that they took Ghostbusters so seriously. Because again, when people got mad at Ghostbusters, I love going back to this example because it really defines just how ridiculous the left has gotten when it comes to dealing with these sort of issues. In the fact that there was no issue. But that's, neither here or there to other people, I guess. The way that Ghostbusters had always been is that it was an established license that people were already used to seeing. In the same way that Solo, as we're seeing right now, is not doing as well as people would have hoped it would be. Because, again, you're completely trying to take over something that is now 40 years old and putting somebody else in the role of someone that we have been used to for 40 years and laud for it. Ghostbusters was a case where it was two things. One, it was taking over a license that people really had a lot of attachment to. And then two, it was shit. I'm sorry. And again, if you want to sit there and say that I'm misogynist because, oh, I must just hate it automatically because, it's a female, starring movie. No, because why would that matter? I've never watched a movie because it's all guys. I have never watched a movie because it's all girls. I watch a movie because I'm interested in the fucking movie. I watched Star Wars Episode 7 even though that I thought that it was going to be bad because I figured, okay, well, they're just going to try to make their own story and it's a completely new set of people. I don't think this is going to be any good. And it was fine. I liked it. And then I watched Episode 8 and it's garbage. But again, I must hate it because, it's because all the main roles are women or people of color. Shut the fuck up. Can we stop it with this already? Have we not gotten through this enough that we have to understand that this is not the sole reason that people dislike things? In fact, here's a great idea. Is it not, normal for people to dislike things? Is that something that is lost on people? That there is a possibility that people may just not like something? It's the same thing that we see online with anything when it comes to a left versus right issue, an SJW versus anti-SJW issue, hell, even an issue between people that like Final Fantasy and then people that like Dragon Quest. I can't sit here and say that I've never really enjoyed a Dragon Quest game without somebody being like, well, how fucking dare you say that? Didn't you know that this was done by this guy? And the story about, how he, they make up this cavalcade of reasons that really don't change my opinion on anything. I don't just suddenly go up and say I hate things just for the fun of it. No, I legitimately have experienced the product and don't like it. Like when I say I don't care about God of War because I've played all 3 games and I've never really cared for them. When I go out and say that I think Uncharted is one of the most overrated series I have ever played because I have played the first 3, including the second one that people literally put on a fucking pedestal as one of the best games on the PlayStation 3. And at best, I thought that game was a 6 out of 10. And that's a 6 out of 10 saying it's okay. Not a 6 out of 10 that these idiotic reviewers say as being bad. 6 is above average. 6 is, at best, okay or good. But in this case, because it's a 6, they're like, oh my god, you must think it's the worst game of all time. No, that would be if I gave it a fucking 1, you idiots. But I digress. Again, going back to Uncharted, just me saying the words, I don't think Uncharted is amazing, would piss people off. You can like the things you like. It's like I said before in the anime video. I like certain genres. You like certain genres. Why the fuck are we having an argument over this? I like what I like. You like what you like. Get the fuck over it. I don't go around telling people that they're idiots for liking Uncharted, for liking Attack on Titan, for liking The Last of Us. I like the things that I like, and I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with staying in my own section of the gaming spectrum, of the anime spectrum, of any spectrum that I'm into, because it's mine. And I don't need to go into somebody else's and try to fuck with that. But these people on both sides, when it comes to Battlefield 5, want their vision and their vision alone, and anybody else's idea is completely incorrect, and they are an idiot for holding that opinion. That is the way that people are right now, and that is fucking disgusting and ridiculous. I think at some point I might have been on one side of this issue and done the exact same thing. And I think, if it's out there, it's out there, and it really does display the amount of growing that I have done in the time that I have been really active in terms of all of this bullshit. I'm no longer in a space where I think that my opinions and that my thoughts are the king. I am merely going to state them, give you my reasons as to why, but my goal, and I may fuck this goal up at some point in any other video, but my goal is to not take a shot at somebody for having a differing opinion from me, unless it's legitimately like a personal attack, like as we see with the way that both sides like to fling shit at each other. If I state my opinion and you call me a misogynist, sexist, racist, transphobe, homophobe, whatever the fuck you want to say, which, by the way, homophobe would be kind of ironic. But if anybody used that, then obviously I'm going to probably either take a shot back or I'll probably just, call you out on it and not actually take a shot at you. My goal is to not say somebody is an idiot. Like, I can say somebody has a wrong opinion, but I think to go to the point that people are now, where they're starting to throw labels on people just because they disagree. Like I said, the whole sexist, misogynist, transphobe, like all those things. And the same goes to the guys on the right, like to be calling people cucks and all this other, like, oh my god, it's so cringy. I think the way I can explain it best is that I think I've gotten so sick and tired of having the same level of arguments and having to read the same pieces of quote unquote journalism from the gaming journalists. I'm just at a point where I think I just want to play video games again and just not have to think about this shit. And I think that's a point that I really wish people would get to again. In that, can we just stop yelling at each other for no reason? Can we stop getting upset at everything? And can we stop getting outraged at everything? The way that I look at Battlefield 5, now that everything has kind of come together, I fully understand why people at first were saying, hey, what the hell's wrong? What the hell's going on with this? This isn't accurate at all. Like, Battlefield at one point used to be like one of the games that we put on, with the original Call of Duties, Day of Defeat, Brothers in Arms, a lot of games like that were very much reminiscent of a game loosely based on the historical accuracy that was the World Wars, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, and then obviously we started seeing like futuristic games. We started seeing Modern Warfare. But at the end of the day, Battlefield had a pedigree of at least having some authenticity to it. Geez, that word's going to haunt me for a while now. But there was that level of expectation from people that that's the kind of game that they were making. So when a game like Battlefield 5 comes out with its trailer that pretty much is the polar opposite of what we're used to. Now, granted, it's probably still going to have the worlds that you would expect, the tanks that you would expect, the vehicles you would expect, the guns you would expect, but there's a lot more to it. I mean, in the same way that now you can play Call of Duty World War II and be a black female Nazi, And again, by the way, to the left, if you want full customization, that's the shit you're going to have to deal with. That's just how it's going to have to be. But I understand at first why people were hesitant to it, because again, it's like anything else. You're used to a certain type of thing. And once that changes, you're like, well, hang on a minute. Like, you guys have been doing this for however long now. What's going on? The second, though, that DICE comes out and says that this is what they're going for, that that's the kind of game they're looking to make now, unfortunately, you just have to shut the fuck up. You can sit here and say, hey, I don't know if I like this direction, but that's where you get to leave it. You don't get to go out and say, oh, DICE is being a bunch of fucking cucks, or, oh my god, DICE is being run by SJWs now. Even if that was the case, who gives a shit? It's artistic freedom. They're allowed to do whatever they want. The difference is they're now going to have to worry about people potentially not buying their game that normally would. Granted, they might be trying to make a game that's potentially available for other people to buy, but that's their choice. And it's also their risk. So let them take that risk. I'm sorry if you have like this extreme attachment to Battlefield and now it's broken. I'm sorry, but I've had the same attachment to Final Fantasy and I just don't care anymore. There's always something else to move on to. There will always be something else that you can play that you will enjoy. So move on. If Battlefield literally is not your cup of tea anymore, if this is such a drastic change that you don't want to play it anymore, then don't play it anymore. You don't have to buy the game. In the same way that all these idiots who buy the EA Sports games would be like, oh, they never change anything, and yet you still buy the game at release. That's your own fucking fault. If you don't want this shit, don't buy it. And especially don't buy the Ultimate Team stuff. But people do it, so EA keeps doing it. It's the way that the market has always worked, folks. If you want to make a change, you vote with your wallet. I've made that stand with EA by not buying a single game that they produced this year. That's my way of telling them that I don't agree with what they've done. But I can tell you what it doesn't have anything to do with. It doesn't have anything to do with there being more women in the games. So to the left that's doing this stuff, seriously, read your articles again and try to tell me that what you're saying makes any sense. The amount of people that are seriously upset because it's just women in a game is so minuscule it does not matter. And we are laughing at these people just as much. Because it is ridiculous to be upset that a different gender is in a game. Just like, by the way, that it's a little ridiculous to be upset at a game that is meant to be historically accurate from the 1500s but you're upset because there's no black people in it. Stop it with the outrage culture, folks. Make your point and get the fuck out. It's time to stop all this senseless arguing. It's time to go back to the way that things used to be, where we could just play any game that we wanted and just enjoy it. Because I'm sick and tired of having this fight, and I'm sick and tired of having this argument. And now I kind of have to play the role of referee and the role of peacekeeper. And that's something I don't enjoy doing because it just means I get flagged from both sides. So all of you, if you really think there's a controversy with Battlefield 5, grow the fuck up. Either buy the game or don't buy it. And that's it. Leave it alone and just go back to doing what we all used to do at one point, which was enjoy ourselves playing video games. The medium that has become so ingrained in our culture.